Hey guys, this is a video for people who are considering switching from PC to Mac. Now, I'm not getting into the debate of which is better. Basically, I'm going to talk about good reasons to switch to a Mac and bad reasons to switch to a Mac. Not reasons why you shouldn't switch to a Mac, but reasons that you may be switching to a Mac for, but aren't necessarily true. Now, the first bad reason for switching to a Mac would be expecting to not have to worry about viruses. Now, a few years ago, you probably wouldn't have had to worry about viruses on a Mac. And that was simply because so few people used Macs that people who made viruses didn't even bother, and they always went for Windows. But now that's not necessarily true anymore because a lot more people are starting to use Macs and they're easier targets. So if you're switching to a Mac just because you don't want to get viruses, think again, because you can still get viruses on a Mac and you will still have to get an antivirus, and you're still going to have to take precautions when browsing the internet to make sure you don't get infected. Now, a good reason to switch to a Mac would be if you want ease of use. Now, Windows PCs are getting better at ease of use, but sometimes they're a little more complicated for people who aren't power users and they don't want to have to worry about configuring anything. Macs are really good at this. Everything is very simple on a Mac. All the behind the scenes stuff is kind of hidden away and pre-configured the best that it can pretty much be. So if you're not someone who's good with computers and you don't want to plan on learning how to use a computer and be a power user, and you just want to have everything work from the beginning, then it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to switch to a Mac if you're willing to pay the price. Obviously, Macs are a lot more expensive than a PC. Now, another bad reason for buying a Mac is because you think that just because it's a Mac, it's going to run a little bit faster. You see, the hardware that goes into a Mac is the same that goes into any other PC or laptop. When you get a Mac, you're basically paying for the software, the operating system, and the design of the outer hardware. Now, slowing down over time and use with the computer is something else that I'm going to talk about later, but pretty much all computers, if they have the same specs, are going to run the same as long as you don't clog them up. This is whether it's a Mac or a PC. Now, another good reason to switch to a Mac is if you want a long-lasting computer. Now, I don't have any scientific evidence or reasons behind it, but everybody I've talked to who has had a Mac has had no problems with their computer 5 or 6 years down the road. There's probably something in the operating system. Maybe it's the simplicity or how it handles startup, but Macs tend to last longer than PCs. Of course, this is ignoring hardware failure, such as a hard drive failure, because it doesn't matter whether you put a hard drive in a Mac or in a PC, it's still going to last the same amount of time. Now, this is just coming from anecdotal evidence. I know a lot of Mac and PC power users, and the people who have Macs tend to be able to use it longer. It tends to be usable much longer. It might even be because of the support Apple offers on their Macs. But in general, if you want a longer lasting computer, a Mac is probably the way to go. But that's not to say that a PC won't last that long. It's in general. So those are a couple of reasons why you might be considering a Mac and which reasons are good and bad. So I hope this helped you make your decision. I'm not trying to tell you whether a PC or Mac is better. This was just to inform you a little bit more. I hope this helped you out. So be sure to like the video and definitely subscribe. And leave a comment if this helped you out, and thanks for watching.